Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, as we are heading very close towards the time of the solar eclipse, definitely wheresoever this whole axis of Rahu and Ketu is getting formed in your natal chart, the vulnerability of that started when we just had our this lunar eclipse, and it will loom over on us till the time we do not even wrap up the solar eclipse as well, which is going to be taking place in next couple of days. So although I have had already talked about how it is going to be affecting you basis your sign, but guys, in this video we will have our discussion on the consolidated 10 points. So 9 points are going to be equally applicable for everyone, and 10th point is going to be, again I will give you a tidbit customized to your sign. So I have already noted down the points over here so that I do not miss out anything while talking in a flow. So guys, the point number 1 is that eclipse nakshatra stays afflicted for 6 months for any auspicious work. So guys, the way it has been believed, and specifically all those people who follow the panchang, and they follow it specifically for taking out, extracting any muhurat, any auspicious timing for any task or any work. So it has been generally believed that wheresoever the, or in whichever nakshatra the eclipse is going to be taking place, the traditional astrologers and all, they generally avoid that nakshatra for the next 6 months for doing any auspicious task. So you have to be careful or mindful about that. Point number 2 is that this is very interesting. So dark and the occult practices are done during the time of eclipse. Okay, so what happened when I was in India for around 10-11 months. So over there I became very good friends with a girl, and she is very fond of cats. And so she was telling me, because the thing is, okay, living in West, this kind of hobby, like over here I have even met people who have their own pet snakes as well. It's common. But yeah, like in India, someone having 2-3 cats and all, so I'm not heard much about that. So she was telling me that okay, she has a black cat as well, which is with her from past couple of years and all. And she was telling me that okay, just because I do not keep my cats confined, but whenever if she's out during the time of the new moon or eclipse, a lot many times it happened that when she comes back, there is a portion of hair from the top of her head which is missing. So generally then she was telling that, oh my god, Nipun, you know, people who does all these black magic and all, they generally use those hairs for those purposes and all. So yeah, this is one such practices which generally the dark practitioners, they generally do it during the time of the eclipse. I guess guys, it was also coming in the news as well. Recently there is this suicide incident happened in one of the province in India, and now the cops who are investigating the matter, they are speculating it to be some dark occult practices which might have gone wrong. So they are investigating it, probing it around from that angle as well. But yes, majority of the times the dark and the occult practices are done during the time of the eclipse. Point number 3, time of karmic retribution and rewards, public outroar, protest and all. So the way the reputation is that the solar eclipse is generally more harmful to the people in power. Like the way recently there has been now lot many protests going on against Netanyahu, like the Israel top person, because of the action which he has taken in Lebanon, in Palestine and all of that. So generally the top leaders, people in the top of the game, they have to face the heat. And guys, trust me, like okay, if I were to take the example of the ex chief minister in one of the province in India, Delhi, the capital, over there this guy Arvind Kejriwal ji, he became the chief minister after like he have had a very controversial political career. Even before that as well, I respect him on certain levels because he could have have a very comfortable job as a revenue officer and something, but he wanted to do something kind of social work and everything, because of which the whole protest thing happened. One thing led to another. He ended up becoming a chief minister. But the concern over here is that he resigned. He was arrested for a couple of months before that as well, but he resigned right on the day of the lunar eclipse. Again guys, when you are an astrologer, you're not just an astrologer only when you're reading the charts or talking about the forecast and something. You are an astrologer, you live with it. You are an astrologer 24/7. You observe that, okay, why certain things are happening right at that time only. Like, what was the transit which activated or triggered that event? So I was like surprised, okay, how come like he kept on facing the pressure, standing firm in the face of pressure, but life put him, or nature put him in a situation that now he has to put down his papers, he has to resign. It happened right at the time of the lunar eclipse, like this recent, on like the September 19th or 20th only, when he resigned. That news came. So yes guys, I mean to say, I mentioned over here karmic retribution and the rewards. So I mean to say, let's say for example, like, because nature tend to remain very sensitive. So if you have actually earned something, and that promise is somehow is being contributed because of like nodes Rahu and Ketu. So generally during the time of the eclipse, when nature tend to remain sensitive, volatile, people get rewarded as well. I mentioned that so many times. Like even I've seen the charts of like Ketu conjunct with Sun in Aries, in Leo, being in the 10th house, being in the 11th house, people in the top of the game. So I mean to say, it not only afflicts or kind of, you know, tortures you, it rewards you in certain alignments as well. But yes, people who are holding up any important political seats and all, they tend to remain more vulnerable. Now guys, the next point is that it is a good time to do appeasement if you have similar yogas in your chart. So let's say for example, it's very common norm that if you're born with like you're born at a time of the eclipse only, or you're born with like you are a Leo Lagna and your ascendant lord Sun is afflicted, or it is conjunct with Rahu, it is conjunct with Ketu, that too in the 8th house, 12th house. So these are like certain alignments which may afflicts the chart. So we say this thing that if you're born with that kind of affliction, getting a remedial measure done through any karam kand, puja and upaya and all at a time the eclipse is taking place, or you're close to those days, is generally considered as very suited time for getting those appeasements done. I will be very soon starting these services on my my website as well. You will soon get to know about that. So that is the one point which I wanted to say, point number 4. Now the point number 5 is that this is one thing like which many orthodox traditional astrologers used to you know, advocate this a lot, which was about the sutak, means the precautionary time. Like for the time of the solar eclipse, we generally say the sutak or the precautionary hours or the clock will start 12 hours before the time of the eclipse. Now again guys, in that phase we say there that you do not have to cook, you do not have to cut your nails, you do not have to use any scissor. The precautions get more strongly applicable for the women who are pregnant and all. So we generally say this thing that all these precautionary things are more applicable if the eclipse is visible in your region. Like the way this solar eclipse is not visible in India, so the sutak, the precautionary clock hours, like 12 hours prior, is not going to be applicable. So it is generally applicable if it is going to be taking place, the eclipse is visible in your region. Now guys, the next point is that out of the Rahu and Ketu, it is generally believed that if the eclipse is taking place, because generally eclipse takes place, the solar eclipse takes place at a time of the new moon. So if it is taking place in a Ketu axis, it is more sensitive. We all know this thing that, see, Rahu can create flaws in like in your nature, in your character, sudden allegation, sudden defamation, which can be fixed with your own diligent hard work efforts, definitely, like even if you have lived a very immaculate, very clean life, and suddenly out of nowhere someone is putting an allegation against you, you might be getting affected, your public image might be questioned for a while, but you can fix it, once the hour of the eclipse is going to be starting to fade away. But when we talk about Ketu, now Ketu is sensitive because Ketu has this power to do the damage which is irreplaceable. So that sort of kind of power which Ketu holds. So we generally say this thing, that if your chart is very much vulnerable, or any of the problem created by Ketu during the time of the eclipse tend to remain, have more unrepairable kind of damage and all. So yes, if it is a Ketu ruled or governed kind of eclipse energy and all, then you have to be more cautious, more careful. I always say this thing, that specific to the Ketu, it's about nature, like all sort of calamities, tsunami, flood, dog bite, being stranded, and all of that tend to remain more of the Ketu domain. So you have to be more watchful and careful on the excess of Ketu if any yoga getting formed. Now after that, guys, beyond doubt, we have talked about that so many times. Sadhana is extremely effective at the time of eclipse, because we say this thing, that even when you are like all those meditation practitioners and advanced yogis, they know this thing, that it's all about kind of subjugating, overpowering sun and moon. It's like you're controlling your your thoughts and being aligned to your soul. That is what the true definition of meditation is. That is a different case, different people try to label it different way, but I guess it is all about kind of getting to that zero state, thoughtlessness state. And we say this thing, that the yoga practitioners say this thing, that the Ida and Pingla can be subjugated and the Sushmana can be activated. So that is what the power of the time of the eclipse is, that because sun and moon are completely kind of controlled and nature tend to dominate. So we say this thing, that if you will be reciting any mantra, doing any chanting practices, so the result of that gets multiplied. Like the way, guys, I mentioned this thing, that recently when I was in India, I vowed I vowed that I'm going to be doing this 125,000 chanting of the Shukra mantra, Venus mantra. And you will not believe, I saw the results. So I mean to say that when someone is doing that with a specific count, I used to keep a copy and pen every time, that okay, one mala 108 times into this many mala beads in a single day. I used to keep a track of that. So the way we believe that you do not have to keep a track of the mala or the chanting you're doing during the time of the eclipse, because the result of that gets amplified. So yes, that was the point number 7. Point number 8 is that, see, donations are extremely effective during the time of the eclipse. We say this thing, that in a way you are appeasing your ancestors. And see, right now we're talking about the Pitri Paksh going on. This is in any case is a duration when we honor our departed ancestors and all. So generally we say this thing, that like I still remember, like in my home as well, when I was in India, there are like lot many things which is only possible when you are living in India, living in foreign land and all. Doing these donations and all might not be that much feasible and doable. So I mean to say, I still remember my mom used to, like, there are like certain habits which generally majority of the household follow, like the very first chapati or the roti in the breakfast, in the meals, are being taken out first for the cow, then for the dogs and all. So yeah, there are like lot many practices. And yes, during the time of the new moon, a lot of the people, they give the donation of the white things like rice, milk, in small portion, sugar, potato, little bit of the money, and they give it to the any of the temple priest. So I mean to say, yes, donations during the time of the eclipse are generally considered as very beneficial. Now guys, the point number 9 is that understand the pulse of nakshatra in order to understand the true area of influence of the eclipse. Now guys, I would say this thing, that now just because you follow astrology so earnestly, so passionately and all. So one thing is for sure that like out of all the 27 nakshatra, at least for each nakshatra, you now have to be in this state that you should be knowing one word which encapsulates the pulse of that nakshatra. So like for example, if we were to say something about, okay, define sadbisha. So the first thing which comes to your mind is medicine or the healing. Now when we talk about, for example, hasta, it has to do with your skill. So I mean to say that if you know the pulse of the nakshatra, it is very easy now to understand that, okay, which specific area is going to be getting eclipsed when the eclipse energy is going to be dominating. So definitely when we talk about, for example, like had it been Sadbisha, it must have something to do with the undiagnosed kind of sudden eruption of a disease, suddenly some surgery or medical procedure going wrong. Same way when we talk about hasta, specifically if you are a skilled professional, so something where there is going to be a question mark the way you executed a job. For example, you are a carpenter, you are a handyman, or you are a hairdresser, or you are a designer. So something wrong or something amazing done by you when you were working from your hand at your work front, which is going to have a very strong impact, sudden impact. So this is what we say that. So yes guys, all what I can say is that you need to be very cautious and careful around the pulse of that nakshatra and specific where it is going to be influencing you. Now guys, definitely the point number 10 is that I promised you that at the end I will talk about how it is going to be influencing you. So although we have talked about that, let's do a quick summary. I'll not go much in detail. So definitely guys, like follow it both from your ascendant, from your moon as well. Now for the Aries, definitely guys, 6th house, you have to be very very careful regarding your health and at your job front as well. I would say that because it is taking place in the hasta. So if you are a skilled professional, you are a handyman, you work with your hands and all, so be very cautious, be very careful the way you are executing your job. At least try not to cut the corners or do not create any scope where other people can question you, God forbid, even if thing goes wrong. Like I'm also Aries, 6th house. I'm already having very bad health symptom. All the symptoms are coming in. I was not even in a condition to make a video, but I needed to do that. So yeah, be very careful in these areas. When we talk about the Taurus natives, definitely guys, it is going to be affecting your 5th house. So a lot many times, signs of depression, because 5th house, sun is your 4th lord as well, getting eclipsed in the 5th house. So do not stress too much on the account of your like any of the areas of life where you're sinking too deep in negativity and pessimistic thoughts and all. You have to be very careful. Along with that guys, when we talk about the somehow 5th house, because in the original Kalpurush Kundli, this is the house which belongs to the planet sun as well. So yes guys, as much as it could be beneficial for mantra sadhana, devotional spiritual practices, but yes, what could be a blessing for one person is equally a bane for a regular person in a regular materialistic life as well. So do not speculate too much during this time. Now guys, when we talk about the Gemini natives, definitely guys, in your case it is going to be taking place in your 4th house. So be very mindful, be very careful regarding see, the thing is, a lot many times it has been seen that suddenly something goes wrong in the house, in the family front as well. Some sort of any of the issues where, like when we talk about Ketu, also tells about electric wires, plumbing, and all these minute details in the house as well. So just be very mindful, be very careful. Suddenly if things go wrong, or you sink too deep in any past wounded, negative, bad memories, so doing meditation is the key solution to you, and being in this awareness that it's just a temporary phase where my emotions are sinking too deep. It's not gonna be lasting for long. Now guys, when we talk about the Cancer natives, definitely Cancer and the Leo are the ones which got very strongly influenced. So guys, in your case, it is going to be taking place in your third house. So definitely guys, be very mindful, be very careful your relationship with your siblings in the neighborhood. And because hasta has got more to do with your skills and all, skill of the hands, and third house also tells about that. So if you are a like working professional, you work with your hands and all, so be very mindful, be very careful with your outburst, with the execution of the job allotted to you. Now guys, when we talk about the Leo natives, so definitely guys, in your case, as you can see that the eclipse energy is going to be affecting your second house. So definitely guys, when we talk about the second house related matters, we all know this thing that second house which also tells about your finances and all. So yes, you have to be very careful. Ketu is a planet of suddenness, and ever since Ketu has entered your second house, and God forbid, let's say for example, if you're also going through the any of these kind of events, like for example your Ketu is active in the Antardasha, your Mercury is active in the Antardasha and all, so this is also very vulnerable time in the matters of your finances as well. Ketu is activated, and even in the transit it is there in your second house, so that means finances needs to be strongly guarded. Now guys, when we talk about the Virgo natives, definitely guys, for the Virgo natives, as you can see, in your case guys, it is going to be taking place right over there in your first house. So like the way guys, I always mention this thing that solar eclipse tend to remain a time when our public image tend to remain a little bit vulnerable and prone towards the external circumstances. So yes, do not do something where you could be targeted, where you could be subjected to criticism, allegation and all of that, because we know this thing, it's about Ketu. So, and it is taking place in the first house, and Ketu hold this potential to do the irreparable kind of damage as well. So be very mindful, be very careful of your conduct during this time. Now guys, when we talk about the Libra natives, definitely guys, in your case, as you can see that it is going to be taking place in your 12th house. Very good time for doing sadhana, for doing meditation, and not a very good energy for going too close to the nature or contemplating on pondering too much over the past lost opportunity, trauma, wounds and all. Monitor your sleep and all. That's all what I can say. But yes guys, this is one such kind of combination where people have that touch and kind of access to that feeling of nirvana and all. So kind of awakened sort of experiences of the consciousness of the kundalini as well. So better align yourself more with the mantra sadhana, and trust me, universe will open lot many doors for you. Now guys, when we talk about the Scorpions, definitely guys, in your case it is going to be taking place in your 11th house. Again guys, a lot is dependent on that, because sun in your case becomes a 10th lord as well, so it's very fluctuating for you guys. A lot many times this also hold this potential to suddenly, like some new beginnings, wrapping up something in order to open up something else for you. So I would say that for the Scorpions, at least for you guys, just do not commit yourself to any cause or to any friend, to any sudden opportunity or offer which comes to you. Be very mindful, be very calm when something suddenly erupts. But generally it has been believed for long that this generally opens a new phase, a new chapter. Like, observe it. If you are also very close towards the beginning of a new Antardasha or starting a new Mahadasha or something, because this is what it is indicating. Now guys, for the Sagittarius natives, definitely guys, in your case, as you can see that the eclipse energy is going to be influencing your 10th house. So yes guys, I would say that because in your case, sun has got a rulership over your 9th house as well. So there is a lot of the involvement of the luck during this time. I mean to say that if something is meant to be snatched away, or if suddenly universe wants to grant or bestow upon something, it happens in a very sudden, in a very unusual kind of way. But yes guys, because eclipse has got more to do with your public image suddenly getting clouded, like people looking at you in a different way, in a different light. So all these things could happen. So my recommendation to the Sagittarius native is that be very mindful regarding your conduct, how you are being perceived suddenly from the past couple of days. regarding whatever you are up to. Like this is one such kind of combination where people and the public's opinion regarding you, regarding your work, suddenly goes through big transition. So this could be for good as well, this could be for bad as well. So just be very careful. And like for all those people, your ascendant lord is still transiting in the sixth house. So if in your line of work you have to do something which is not in the realm of the government laid instructions and guidelines and all, like any unsolicited income, under the table income, bribery, cutting corners and all, so those professionals have to be extra cautious and careful. Now guys, for the Capricorn natives, definitely guys, in your case it is taking place in your ninth house. So doing sadhana, doing donation, mantra, chanting, being very grateful towards the contribution of your ancestors, your pitris and all of that should be considered. So yes guys, the 8th house energy is coming in, getting eclipsed in your 9th house. So yes, there's a lot of turning up, like turmoil and churning up, which the Capricorn natives are going to be subjected to. So my recommendation specifically guys, as much as it is good for travels and all, I mean to say, as much as it is good for the sadhana, meditation and all, it is not very good for any travel, specifically after a long span of time. See, if in all those cases where this is what your nature of work is, you are a flight attendant or you are a pilot, then that is a different case. But if for long you have not taken a trip and suddenly you're planning a trip and all, so be very careful. Any of the visa, immigration, documentation, if you have to give any important seminar, important lecture and all, so be very careful. Any slip of tongue can actually make you or subject you to controversies and all, or public protest and outroar and all, so be very careful. Now guys, for the Aquarians, definitely guys, it is taking place in the 8th house. So this is one such typical combination guys, the way I mentioned this thing, karmic retribution or karmic reward. So yes guys, your consciousness is ready to go through some new beginning, like major transformation. And it is going to be like the way we say that it's not only going to be happening just on a material front, like the whole level of the subconsciousness, chetana, like where people start contemplating on those matters of life and death, my actual contribution to the life, to the world, what I'm here for, what I'm ready to sacrifice or give away my life for. So those kind of deeper nuances, understanding of the life and all. So this is how it is going to be operating for the Aquarians. And this is one such kind of combination where people, we say this thing that in our scriptures, when that Bhishma took that vow of celibacy, pratigya and all. So finding that purpose, that mission in the life, or scientists and all, people get their hands on something which is very unique, very valuable. So yes, in short, meditation, contemplation is the key for you, for the Aquarians. That's all what I can say. And guys, for the Pisceans, definitely guys, taking place in the 7th house. Be very mindful, be very careful. Your outlook towards the world, your relationship with your partner, your commercial undertakings and all are very much open towards judgment, criticism, transformation, expectations, highly laid expectations at you. So be very careful around the domain of the 7th house. We generally see the open enemies, public, your partner, commercial interest, all of that is generally seen from over here. So refrain from any sudden changes, U-turn, experiment. That is all what I can say. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. Once again guys, thanks a lot for watching this video, and for further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.